his name's Deuce Robinson, 5-star tight end, high school. It's like that. You're going to be a star. Like Deuce Robinson, there's no way you're not a really good player. Like Deuce Robinson.
Deuce McAllister.
Deuce is just
Excellent
good.
name. Yeah,
Deuce is good.
It's a good name.
Andrew, who do you think made a bigger mistake doing nothing at the deadline? Toronto or Chicago?
Ooh.
I'm going to say, like, one didn't do anything at the deadline because I feel like the opportunities that they had to possibly do something at the deadline, it would have cost them a bit more. So I get why Toronto didn't do anything at the deadline, because you would have had to part with, I think people were probably going to be asking too much. And it's like, don't want to give that up. But at the same time, I still need to make a move. So like, I could like seeing Masai's face in the kind of like the post trade deadline presser that he did. I want to say it was either after the game or before the game. But basically, dude was like, look, we wanted to make moves, but the moves would have been entirely too costly for us. So I get it. Chicago not making a move.
Toronto did pick up Pirtle.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're not even sure if they're going to start him. That was so weird.
But is it more so?
Well, they're absolutely going to.
Is it more so the case for Toronto that it's like, okay, yeah, we got Jakob Pirtle, who isn't terrible.
No, he's a solid starting center.
But at the same time, it's like what we wanted to do in like December in terms of the trade deadline.
By the way, Jakob Pirtle acquired with a pick from the Knicks in the Andrea Bargnani trade, but I'm not.
Well, I was saying, but like what we wanted to do like 2 months ago as compared to what we did on the actual day. I mean, Chicago, though, is the team.
They needed to strip it down to the studs, and they just didn't.
Well, I don't think they want to do that. It's more so, look, we have invested. We are too deep in the water now to just say, oh, this isn't going to work. We at least need to see it on the floor to figure out, oh, this isn't going to work.
Going by Bulls Twitter, I think they would have an answer to that, which is
I think they do too. But this, you got to remember, this is. I'm not saying that they're going full Garpax era with it, but it definitely gives off that vibe of they're going to try and stick this out as long as possible.
They're going to Washington Wizards it in a perpetual quest to get into the play-in tournament.
But the difference is Beal is okay for whatever reason with this situation in DC. Like he wasn't even mentioned. He's just hanging out. He got the Supermax. He's fine. LaVine though apparently has tuned out Billy Donovan, right? Like that.
I have been watching. I like every time you watch the Bulls play, Zach LaVine looks utterly miserable. I think he would certainly benefit from a change of scenery.
Right.
And some of those, I mean, he hasn't really recovered from the knee injury yet, so that's kind of holding him back. And he does the explosiveness comes and goes with him, but he just Speaking of body language.
Yeah, but why not? I guess.
Sorry, I went into a Dennis Miller 1988 mode.
You
talk about
really did.
Body language.
Bob, can you be Dennis Miller for the rest of the pod?
Oh no. God, no! Please do not. I swear to God.
No, I would sprain something that's
Bob,
that's contraindicated by my doctor.
Here's something that I have a question for you, Andrew. Bob, if you had to be another sportscaster on this pod for the next 30 minutes, who do you think you would be able to do the best job of for 30 minutes? Who do you think you've listened to or seen the most that you could pull off?
I have not. I mean, the person I've listened to is okay. Do you mean broadcasters like Gary, Keith, and Ron? Because my answer is Gary, Keith, and Ron.
Yeah. Oh, you could do Gary, Keith, and Ron.
I can't do Gary, Keith, and Ron. It's three guys, and I'm one guy, and I'm not going to.
Could you do Keith?
Sock puppets? No, they're inimitable. I cannot do a Keith Hernandez. It would just be a series of like sighs and strange noises when a player doesn't perform up to his standards. the person who I've listened, Gary Keith's the one who I've listened to the most. If you're talking about talking heads, and pundits, and it's probably Francesa, but I don't have like a pocket Francesa.